Good morning. Today I'm going to talk to you about how we handle objections. And this one is probably one of the more common ones that we get, which is I need to talk to my kids. Sometimes it's I need to talk to my spouse, even though it's the same objection and the response that we give works for both. I think it just from my personal experience, it works better when the objection is I need to talk to my kids. Sometimes I think the spouse thing is a little bit more sensitive. Um, but it could work for either. The point of how we handle objections is so that we're not, manipulating them or putting any additional sales pressure on them. We're actually helping them overcome their own objection by asking additional skilled questions, right? So just helping them realize in their own mind why their objection is sort of not real and how to get them to overcome it themselves, right? Without putting any additional pressure on them, which is what people really, really don't like. So this is just, excuse me, one of over 25 objections that our team teaches. I'm going to share one with you just so that you can see the flow of what we do and how deep we're going to be going into these. If you are interested in hearing how we handle more objections, or if you're struggling, or if you are trying to do it over the phone, it's not working for you, I will put my contact information in the comments and you can feel free to reach out and we can have a chat, see if we're a good fit for each other. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to walk through the tone of how this needs to be delivered, because it's not just the words, it's how you're saying it, the tonality and the pace and the slightly skeptical way that you're asking it is more than 50% of the battle. Okay, so someone says, I need to, I like this a lot, but I really need to talk to my kids first. Yeah, that's not a problem. Um, how do your kids feel about you putting something in place to protect them from having to come out of pocket to pay for your funeral and other final expenses when something does happen to you, right? Customer says, I'm not sure. That's why I want to talk to them. Or they might say, well, I think they'd want me to have something. Doesn't matter what they say. Okay, I understand. What will you do though if you go to them and they tell you they don't want you to use any funds towards getting a policy and you don't have that protection for them, and then something actually happens to you? I mean, what would they do then? Customer responds, well, I don't really know, but that's why I want to talk to them. I understand. What will they do though if you did pass away, God forbid, in a year or two, and they get stuck with having to pay for the funeral or other expenses, and they don't actually have the money to do that? I mean, what would they do at that point? Customer responds with whatever they say. Maybe they're still resisting. Okay, well, I mean, are you willing to settle for that and take that risk though? Right? I'm questioning them. I'm being skeptical. I'm trying to help them work through it. Customer says, well, no, of course not. I don't want, to take that risk. Um, and it's all depending upon how you're delivering this, right? You're not being pushy. You're just questioning them. Okay, well, why look at this now then? I mean, why not just push it down the road like a lot of people would, and then they pass away and their family ends up getting stuck paying for everything? I mean, why now? No, 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 customer says, I'm not going to let that happen. Okay, well, what do you think you should do then? Right? Hopefully you've helped them overcome their objection and they agree to move forward with you. If they're still undecided or unsure, can I maybe make a suggestion? Or you can say, can I, maybe make a suggestion, without you getting mad at me for it, right? That disarms people. It seems to me that even if your kids oppose this idea, you still might not want them to bear the burden, right? Is that right? Of course. Well, in that case, maybe we should start the process now to make sure you're approved And then, we can move the start date out by a couple of days or a couple of weeks. So you have some time to talk things over before anything goes into effect. Would that, be an appropriate solution? Okay. So that's the way we go about helping people overcome their own objections. I'm not assuming the sale. I'm not saying things like, so who's your beneficiary? At this point, I know there's some previous training videos where we may have suggested doing that. In this type of objection handling, we are, again, helping people overcome their own fears. And you can only do that by way of asking questions. So I hope this helps. I hope you're able to use it. And I hope you guys have a great sales day.